Happy Saturday, boys. We back with another video. We just had the worst card in UFC history. Not really. I mean, the worst main event, arguably, with Magomed versus Guskov, who ran away the entire fight. But we're just gonna look over the card today, everything that took place. Go over Steve Urseg, having this happen to him. Pretty crazy. But let's start off with Magomed Ankalaev versus Bogdan Guskov. So Guskov decided to take on Anthony Smith persona for this fight instead of his usual hitman persona, where he's the one being active, hunting people down, looking for the big straight, everything like that. He basically just ran away the entire fight. Guskov ran away for about 20. I mean, you can say 20 until the fight ended, and the fight ended in Mark Goddard getting bored, just stepping in and just stopping the fight for no reason at all. Guskov wasn't knocked out. Magomed was confused. It didn't make any sense, as you can see here. Significant strike differential. Magomed threw almost had triple the output of Guskov, and I think it was halfway through the fight when they put up a graphic of shots landed. I think it was halfway through round two, and it said that Guskov was ahead on strikes, and Magomed was threw way more. Not threw way more, like a tad bit more. I think it was like 80, 90-ish and land. It was some stupid, incorrect number that just did not make sense whatsoever. I don't want to really, bash Magomed for this fight because it's really not his fault. He was the one hunting down Bogdan. Bogdan ran the entire fight. I mean, he was putting on a Barry Sanders impression. At one point, he was trying to juke out Magomed Ankalaev with his hands down like this on the octagon side. Overall, just one of the worst fights I've ever seen. One of the worst fights I've ever seen. And it's not because Magomed, everyone likes to hate on Magomed Ankalaev like he's some T word to the sport. When in reality, he's one of the best fighters in light heavyweight division, arguably the best. He came into the Pereira fight with broken ribs. And don't get me wrong, I wanted Pereira to beat him. I like Pereira way more than Magomed Ankalaev. But he's a great fighter, and a lot of these dudes are they don't want to fight him. I don't want to say they're scared of him. These guys like Bogdan, they'll knock the average pedestrian out. But these light heavyweights, when they get into the octagon with people like Magomed, I mean, he wasn't even staring at Magomed leading up to the fight. So I thought in my head, oh, okay, he's fighting some personal demons. He wants to save it for the fight. When he get in, he'll return to former glory. Just okay, I'm ready to fight now. And throughout the fight, you would think, is he injured? Is he gambling? Like, what's going on? Why is he not throwing punches? And it never got better. Through a 5-round fight, he kept doing it. The coaches are confused. At one point, they were enabling him, saying, "Hey, the crowd is booing. You know, don't listen to them." No, this is just overall disgusting. I can't believe Bogdan put out a performance like this in a main card opportunity in Abu Dhabi. If you do, obviously he took it on short notice, right? It was about 2 weeks short notice. He had already been training for Jan Blachowicz, right? So he was prepared. It wasn't like he came off the couch. He was expecting to fight a little bit later. But I don't know what it was. I've never seen him look this terrible. Really have tried to root for the guy. But I can't pick Bogdan Guskov against anyone at the top rankings of light heavyweight anymore. What I've seen this morning, I was gonna say tonight, this morning, was just overall disgusting display of mixed martial arts. Yeah, he let down a lot of people. Now, I didn't think he was a world beater by any means, but again, I was rooting for the guy. I picked Magomed to beat him because he's way better at MMA. But overall, just completely disgusting. Not really much to talk about. One of the most boring fights you'll ever watch. It's just Magomed, picking him apart, managing the range. Shout out to Magomed for not putting himself in danger for Bogdan, right? Staying at range, actually targeting, picking his shots correctly. Overall, just doing whatever he wanted to Bogdan Guskov, who did not want to engage with him. But again, not his fault. As you can see, just one of the worst fights you'll ever watch. If you missed it, do not watch it back. Steve Urseg versus Tamirov. This was crazy. I was actually laughing out loud when this happened. But yeah, sorry, I might be covering it. But this is what happened. This is what happened to Steve Urseg, the world beater. that bedtime MMA and a couple other like Lucas Tracy. They were all. I think the Weasel said this guy was gonna like beat Pantoja and become the just greatest, one of the greatest flyweights ever. Just some crazy stuff that came in about Steve Erceg. And I like Steve Erceg. I don't want to crap on him. I actually think he's way better than Timarov at mixed martial arts. But Timarov, he's a guy. Hey, let's open this in a new tab. Timarov, Amelbayev, pop for steroids. Charles Johnson took him to a decision. This is crazy. It says a lot about Steve Erceg, unfortunately. It says he's 5'4". He might be 5'3". He's not very big, but as you can see, 12-fight winning streak. I picked against him in this fight. I probably will never pick him against him again. I think he beats everyone outside of maybe some tricky strikers, bad matchups like Horiguchi, of course. Horiguchi beats just about everyone as well. I think he got fluked by Manel Cap, and I like Manel Cap, but that was definitely a fluke. He was winning that fight and just got caught, really. Got timed. Manel Cap is good. That was his game plan. He got him out of there with power. But I think Timarov beats everybody. His cardio is definitely an unknown. We don't really know what's going on with his cardio, as he's just throwing crazy shit for the first 10 minutes of the fight. I know against Charles Johnson, he did slow down. But here, yeah, as you can see, that was not a problem. He actually landed majority of his strikes. Not majority, but a little bit under half. Steve looked good in this fight. He has some good boxing. He really did everything he could do. Like, it wasn't a bad Steve Erceg performance. It's just when Timarov is in front of you, throwing spinning back kicks, and he's throwing punches that knock him off of his own feet, and Steve is slipping across the octagon. Technicality is not going to beat someone like Timarov. You need to have a little bit of that power as well. You need to, a lot of people overrate the power of Steve Erceg for knocking out Matt Schnell, who everyone knocks out. Yeah, Steve Erceg's a good boxer, but his chin is questionable. He's getting dropped by O'Day Osborne and a couple other guys. Overall, going to tough decisions with guys we assume he's levels above them. So, not surprising. It is sad to see this Steve Erceg downfall. Again, I never thought this would happen. Like, I didn't even process this happened in real life. Like, when you watch it happen, you're like, oh, wow, okay, Steve Erceg just got face planted. But now looking back, it's like, oh, wow, okay, Steve Erceg's career might actually never be the same. It might be over. I think after this performance, his chin will definitely never be the same. I think he was already a little bit chinny, but I think that was kind of a nail in the coffin. Overall, just really a nightmare matchup. Timarov just throwing bombs. Very weird, awkward, super fast, athletic. The dude's arms are bigger than mine, and he's 5'3". So, yeah, just the overall really sad downfall for Steve Erceg. But Magomed John Pork versus Damian, another fight that really pissed me off. We got John Pork putting on a Muay Thai masterclass against Damian Respecki. Now, Damian Respecki, he looked really bad. I watched his film. I think he's a good fighter. He's undefeated coming in. He is young. I think it was the UFC debut nerves, but overall, he looked very I don't want to say scared. He's a fighter, but he really did just look scared of John Pork. John Pork came in here. John Pork look at this guy's physique. Like, everything about him is just, you've never seen anything like it. He has crazy Muay Thai. He's light and fast. The kicks up the middle that he hit on Damian were crazy. They were all accurate for the most part. So really accurate on top. He did have some questionable grappling exchanges with Damian. He went 1 for 7 on takedowns. But yeah, he was getting controlled in a clinch. But again, if you can't really threaten John Pork with a submission, with a takedown, you might take him down. He's going to get right back up. He trains with Khabib and him, so it doesn't really matter if you're not going to submit a Dagestani. So anytime you see a guy like Damian clinching a Dagestani like Magomed, just know it's stall. Just know it's probably because they're scared to engage and they don't trust the striking, because they also know that they can't really take them down and submit them. So it's overall just a waste of time. But I don't want to blame I don't want to act like Damian's a bad fighter or this is an overrated win by Magomed. Magomed beat who was in front of him, which is Damian. Damian's like 24, Polish guy. He was clearly scared in octagon. It is what it is. Like he feared the striking of John Pork, and there was no way out of it. He couldn't take him down. There was nothing he could do. He's younger. He's 24. I believe John Pork is 31. But yeah, overall, really easy. I need to see a boost in the level of competition for John Pork because right now, I mean, you can't keep putting these guys in front of him who are not on his level, right? Damian's a good fighter, 7 years younger. That's 7 years of improvement that he has to do. 7 years of experience he has to go get, and he's not. He can't mess with John Pork on the feet. So this fight really does nothing. It's a good showcase for how good John Pork can strike. It is fantastic. He's one of the best strikers at lightweight, and he definitely will be problems for anyone who can't kind of use their will. Armin will obviously take down this dude and not let him get back up. Probably won't submit him, but will just control him, beat him up for a couple rounds, and negate most of that striking. Probably gas him out. We haven't. He it looks like he has amazing cardio, but when Armin gets to land on you, that might add up. But so I don't want to see anyone too high level. Obviously, he won't fight Armin right now, but I'll say give him another. I'll say give him a wrestler. Let's see how a wrestler with like decent striking at lightweight I would like to see Gamrot, the winner of Gamrot versus Salkill, fight John Pork, or the loser, whoever. I think either or two of those fighters would be a good one. You got to stop feeding Quill and Salkill favorable matchups, right? If he can stand up on a feet with John Pork, who he's a tad bit bigger than, and not get submitted, have a good it could be like a 5-round main event for a fight night. That'd be a good one. Or just a feature on a main card, 3 rounds. Let them two get in there. Let Gamrot fight him. Gamrot's really what I want to see. He's going to do a lot of control, a lot of all that stinky stuff that usually wears people out that you kind of have to be pretty good at to deal with. So let me see that fight coming up. Rizvan Kuniev. I believe they were calling this guy Guniev during his announcements and everything like that. Not a joke. I think they were actually calling this guy Guniev. But yeah, beats up Tyrell Fortune, broke him down with body shots, a lot of knees and elbows. He's really impressive on the feet with the striking. He has good knees. He has just about every tool. He has a good chin as well because Tyrell was stinging him down the middle, when he was fresh. And Tyrell's not a bad fighter. Like if you watch it, he looked pretty good. Like, he arguably if he didn't have some moments in the first round, he could have won against Rizvan Kuniev. So I know I crapped on this fight about the rankings of where these people are, but they actually are pretty good heavyweights compared to what we're used to seeing. Tyrell looked really fast. Rizvan's interesting because he's running around with a big beer belly, but he's really good. Like he's not a bad fighter whatsoever. He's accurate. He has high fight IQ. I like it most importantly. He does the right things, and yeah, overall a little bit athletic as well. Even though he's carrying, the gut around. So I'm definitely going to be. I won't be opposed to watching his fights on a post-fight interview. I know he said he wanted to be entertaining. I like that at heavyweight. Tyrell, I actually was impressed by him as well. Even though he did lose, he got hit. He was really tough, but he took some massive body damage during this fight that really just broke him down. And even when he was in trouble, he was still throw back. Never really gave up unless he really had to. Just broke him down. I think he got failed by his corner. I think his corner kind of underestimated, Rizvan Kuniev. But I can't believe he only landed 29 strikes and threw 50. But yeah, decent fight, not bad at all. This one, I didn't even watch this. I watched a little bit of highlights from the first round. There wasn't a highlight. I think a highlight was a takedown. Um, yeah, 27 versus 33 significant strikes. They probably weren't that significant, from what I've seen. Is yeah, just really a complete snoozer. I don't think these guys are gonna, do anything too crazy in the sport, especially at welterweight. That place has killers. Like, so is it even worth talking about? Is it even worth talking about? But hey, if you want to go watch that and spend your Saturday watching that, go ahead. Walter Walker, heel hooks Thomas Peterson in a first round. 10 strikes thrown. This is crazy. 1 minute why, like, I spoke about this during my predictions, but why is Walter in there with Thomas Peterson? I predict, I say, hey, Thomas Peterson is going to get heel hooked by Walter whenever he wants. I gave it to the end of the first round. I didn't expect it to be 1 minute in, but Walter Walker is displaying how bad the heavyweight division is at the moment. Everyone knows Walter Walker's only move. They have months to train for it, and they still can't stop it. They still can't negate him on the feet. They still can't stuff the takedown. It's just, yeah. I believe actually Thomas got his takedown rejected and then submitted in the process. It was just really low level. Walter Walker is on a run, embarrassing a whole heavyweight division. I like Walter Walker. He's entertaining. Actually a cool guy. I like him way more than his brother Johnny Walker, who Johnny Walker is also a good guy deep down, but kind of a little bit weird, I would say. Um, Dustin Jacoby gets spectacularly knocked out by Muhammad Saidov. Um, yeah, so this one was at the beginning of round two, or no, I think that was at the end. Sorry, but the highlight was pretty crazy. He hit him with like a spinning back. I mean, he had been tagging him before the entire fight. I picked Dustin Jacoby to win this one, but Muhammad Saidov was definitely one of the better, debuting kind of Middle Eastern region fighters that were coming in on this card. And I told you in a prediction that he has pretty good striking. There were two guys I think in this division. Yeah, we're going to get on to the other one who fought Brenton Ribeiro, he's oh god, we're going to get to him. But yeah, Saidov looked really good. Dustin Jacoby, he also, hey, I mean, he's like 40 now. He did the best he could out there. Overall, Muhammad Saidov, he's a very, like, I didn't know the guy was striking like that. He hit him with a crazy, I mean, he had been tagging him with everything all night. He looked fast, he looked slick, the defense looked good, the footwork looked good. Overall, just a display of striking. So really impressed by him. I'll definitely be watching his fights. We'll see the competition rise because Dustin is not a bad fighter. I think he's pretty decently in the rankings at the end. So yeah, everyone's not doing that to Dustin. Sam Patterson, another fight on this card, underwhelming. Yeah, Sam Patterson knocks out Ponzinibbio. Is there much to say? Santiago didn't have much on the feet to offer. He had been getting tagged up the whole fight. Sam Patterson's actually younger, a little athletic. Didn't want to fight against MVP, but came out here and put old man Santiago down, who should have been retired. You know, yeah. What do we say? I don't even know what to say. It just was one sided fight, getting tagged up. I believe when he find in a closing sequence, I think he just threw it straight. It was way fast. Santiago, I think Sam had let off like 3 shots before Santiago could even react. The next thing you know, boom, he's on the ground. Yeah. Another fight, I got right. Sola versus Bonfim. I told y'all Bonfim is not Gabe, unfortunately. Shout out to Bonfim. No, I'm not going to bash Roman. But look at it. This is, oh my God. Oh my God. Y'all see this? These are the fights that the UFC is putting together. That we're supposed to be excited for, look forward to, gamble on, drink beer for, things like that. How can you be excited for this fight? Look at these numbers on the screen. Look at these numbers. I'm not even going to discuss it. Axel went out there and did whatever he want. Didn't break much of a sweat doing it. It's just he's just levels, he's levels above. In his striking, he's bigger. It was never it was yeah. Come on. Don't gotta say much here. Magomed Tuchalov. This is the guy who was like a minus 800 favorite. I told you on his tape, he looked slow. He didn't look good. He didn't look good. I told you guys need to stop picking people with OV at the end of their name just because it's OV. It doesn't make sense. Brinson had moments in this fight. He it was yeah, just 14 takedowns, not doing anything, just a slop fest, really. Slop fest, slow striking. Uh had Brinson in trouble, I believe, in round two. But other than that, I mean, this was just overall a really low level MMA fight, especially at light heavyweight. So yeah, this guy's catching a lot of back flack online, Tukalov. But what do you expect? You guys bet on Dagestanis just for being Dagestan. Go actually see who they are as a fighter, as a human. What they look like, their competition. You would have saw very quick that hey, this guy isn't the next like that one guy at light heavyweight that's knocking everybody out. Um, who knocked out Neil Magny. I can't remember his name, but he's really good. This guy is just another light heavyweight. It is what it is. But last two, Abdul Narulo Aliyah versus Mike. I mean, this fight was a complete stinker. Narulov just hugged Mike Davis the whole fight. Didn't really want to engage with him. Um, yeah, I mean, this again, I picked Mike Davis. I didn't expect Narulo to be that effective at grappling, but he's clearly a great grappler. I knew that coming in, but I definitely understand it now. But overall, I mean, this it's just a horrible fight. It's a disgrace to the sport. A lot of people are also calling him out online. I don't know what you expect. I really don't know what you expect coming into this stuff. You knew this was going to happen. You knew Mike Davis was actually powerful on the feet. Has the threat of knocking people out. And Arulo is not that good of a striker. He's not. So what did he do? I didn't expect him to stink it up like this, but he just sat on Mike Davis for 15 minutes. He said, like, how do you have 8 takedowns, shot 13, but Mike has more submissions attempts? Like, this is crazy. So yeah, really bad. I feel bad for Mike Davis. He's going off online. If you go on Twitter, you'll see him, just come. Yeah, he's pissed. He's letting Arulo have it. I can't say some of the stuff he's saying, but yeah, I feel bad for the guy. But at the same time, hey, it's a fight. Get up. You have to be better. Yeah, this is a really high level grappler, but you can't complain about it. That's how you want to fight. It sucks. It's horrible to watch, and I don't want to watch it ever again. But it happens, man. You gotta be prepared coming into it. You knew what his threat was coming into the fight. So hate to see that one. Cody Gibson, yeah, this was another very one. This whole card just had one-sided fights. Abdul, Cody, man, he didn't have much for Abdul really anywhere in this fight. Getting tagged up on the feet, drop, like whatever basically Abdul wanted to do. Abdul is small, but he's definitely like really fast. He's actually pretty good. He looked really good in his UFC debut compared to the film I've seen elsewhere. I mean, he still looked good there, but now it's like, okay, you see him in the octagon, how he handles everything. Look composed, look just high level. Like he looks like a high level bantamweight. So I think he might be able to do something in the UFC. So he's probably one of the actually good prospects on the card besides John Pork. Look out for Abdul Hussein. He's not bad whatsoever. He's good. And now it's Cody Gibson, right? He didn't go beat up Mario Batista, but still, Cody Gibson, despite the record, he is fundamentally a decent fighter. He doesn't. Yeah, he might lose here and there. The guy's older. I think he teaches on the side as a teacher, but he's not a horrible fighter. So for Abdul to go out there and do that, most Cody's usually able to make it decently competitive, grit it out, get to a decision, not get finished. He got finished in round 3 here, so again, it almost happened. I know what I'm talking about. But hey, Abdul wanted to finish, you got it. So good win for Abdul Hussein. Um, and yeah, overall, not really an amazing card. The main event was a huge letdown. Steve Erceg getting face planted was definitely entertaining, but it sucks for Steve, and I hate to see that happen to him. But it offered some excitement. Magomed fighting, beating up a 24-year-old wasn't much. Yeah, just overall one of the worst cards of the year. Very few things going on. The prelims had decent finishes, but they all meant nothing. The only impressive ones that actually mean something for these divisions are Dustin versus Sidolf. Dustin isn't bad. Yeah, Axel is not getting any cool points for beating up Bonfim. So it's like Sam Patterson. This sucked. This sucked. Abdul, yeah, I mean, he looked good, but he fought Cody. So let me know what you think in the comments. Yeah, hopefully Dana White gets it together. It's looking really bad for the UFC. And next week is going to be even worse. I mean, outside, oh my God. I already made a video about this. Go watch that one, but this is looking really bad outside of a couple fights. So yeah, this is 100% better than what we saw this week. So just this had potential to be better with the names, but it didn't perform too well. Um, so I think this one will be better. These guys are all solid on the prelims. The main card, yeah, yeah, it's looking really dark for the UFC. But I'm out of here. Let me know what y'all think. See you in the next one.